this Yuma Elementary School District Number 1 Governing Board public hearing to order. Our single order of business tonight is consideration to convene a public hearing pursuant to a number of Arizona revised statutes. You can look them up on the agenda to review and allow comments for budget revision for fiscal year 24-25. Mr. Ponder.
Madam President, members of the board, so we're doing another revision this year. Sometimes they're required, sometimes they aren't, but I knew that we would be able to capture some additional revenue with this revision. It's not that we would lose it if we don't do it now, but I wanted the budget to more accurately reflect what our actual revenue is, so I wanted to do a revision in December to make sure that we have the most accurate information we can as we move into the new calendar year and the second half of the school year. So that's why we're looking at a budget revision in December. So we'll go through just a similar format as we have before, looking at our ADM, looking at our Group B ADM specifically, then just looking at the impacts that would have on M&O and our district additional assistance as we move forward. So you can see from our first revision to our second revision, we have had an increase in ADM. We somewhat expected that, although we didn't know exactly how much that would be. This ADM estimate is just that, it's an estimate. We still have a number of days before we reach 100th day, which is kind of that final number. But as we get closer and closer, that number will move less and less because we've captured most of what we'll see. But we do anticipate it to increase maybe a little bit between now and 100th day, but it probably won't move very substantially. So we've got about 70 more ADM collected on this revision than we had in the previous. So looking at the Group B weights, you'll see that our Group B weighting on the left was 15,106. The Group B weighting circled on the right is 14,680. So that's a decrease of 426, and that's largely just due to a smaller free and reduced price lunch group. We do have increases in some of the ESS areas, and so that's what we're really looking at when it comes to Group B. Some of those other areas like K3 and K3 reading at the top, ELL, or the free and reduced price lunch or gifted, those are some of the smallest multipliers that we have in Group B. So while that's a large number, it's not a significant financial shift. The financial impact largely comes from rows 10 through 19 that are geared more towards the ESS students. So again, just a little breakdown of what those weights are, and you can see once you get into the hearing impaired and then on down, you'll see that those are the larger weights, and those are our ESS students. So the M&O impact was about a $4.5 million increase over revision 1. And so we took the information that the state provides us through two different reports, a Budge 25 report and a Budge 75. So the Budge 75 reviews last year's financial information, and then they kind of square up what they think versus what we think, and then tell us if we're off or they're off, and then we get to either account for more money or subtract some. And they actually we actually captured about another $20,000 off of that. So nothing huge, but we were able to get a little bit more money off of that. Then the remainder of it just comes through the ADM increase that we didn't anticipate. Again, we started the year thinking we'd be down 1.5%, but we're actually up, 70 kids. So that's a pretty significant shift there. And then the growth in some of our ESS categories has driven some of that revenue as well. So those are the kind of the three main areas that drove that $4.5 million change. DAA, no change. DAA or capital is funded on prior year anyway, and so that's any change we see in student enrollment this year wouldn't really have an impact on DAA since that's funded off of prior year numbers. We could shift some of that new money over to capital if we needed to or wanted to. We didn't see a need to at this point just yet. So the total budget, our first revision was $77.2 million in M&O and then $11.7 million in capital. And then this particular revision is $81.7 million in M&O and $11.7 million again in capital. So that's that $4.5 million change in those two maintenance and operation lines. Any questions?
Are there any questions or comments from the board? So we'll move on to any questions or comments from the public regarding this budget revision. This is a public hearing. If you have a question or a concern regarding this budget, now is your time to be heard. If there are no questions or comments, this hearing is adjourned. Hang tight for another song from the Sunrise Singers.
Time. My folder.
Okay, we're gonna sing our second song, and before we do, I just want to thank Mr. Chipper and the board for inviting us to sing tonight. It's a great opportunity for the kids and everybody to hear what they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Myers. Thank you, Sunrise Elementary, for being here this evening. We really appreciate you.
Sorry.
Bringing that entertainment. to us.
Trip you up there.
Thank you, guys. Job. was awesome.
Merry Christmas.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is still Tuesday, December 10th. It is now 5:45 p.m., so I will call the Yuma Elementary School District Number 1 Governing Board regular meeting to order. Would you please stand to honor the flag and remove your hats? I'd like to introduce Angel Ochoa and Wyatt Schlager from Dorothy Hall Elementary to lead us in the pledge. Gentlemen?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, we will move on to the adoption of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion for that.
Move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Ware and seconded by Mr. Guyer. Is there any discussion? There being none, let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to reports. Item 2, 2.1. This is an opportunity for board members to report briefly on items such as site visits, governmental relations, conferences, and meetings attended. Who would like to share? I got to go to Dorothy Hall today and observe the science fair, and it was awesome and exciting and loud, as it should be when kids are excited about science. So good job to Mr. Bailey and all of the teachers and parents who showed up to support their children. Superintendent's report, item 2.2, 2.2.1, actually, high five recognition, Mr. Munoz.
Madam President, governing board members, we're excited to celebrate our High Five employee group for the month of November. This is our last group we're going to celebrate in the year 2024. And we have new clappers showcasing the stars for these employees. So if we could please have our High Five employees stand so we can be recognized. Yep. And now we have a special video presentation that showcases all the amazing things that these individuals are doing. So you have a seat and we'll showcase our video presentation. Congratulations. And at this time, we'd like to acknowledge all of our employees individually. We have a high five t-shirt for you to wear. We have a thank you card from the governing board. And inside the thank you card, you have a $25 gift card. Thank you to Mr. G's for donating that. Thank you, Mr. G's. High five pin, and then you have a high five certificate too. So our first employee from Desert Mesa, Dulce Verdugo.
Congratulations.
From Castle Dome, Officer Saucedo. From 4th Avenue, Luis Lopez.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
They're not here tonight, but we want to give a round of applause to Lily Fairchild from McGraw. Alicia Estrada from Otondo. Thank you.
Thank you. On to item 2.2.2, donation recognition, Mr. Sheldon.
Madam President, members of the board, it's my pleasure to highlight the generosity of our community again this month. Alice Byrne received a donation for a fundraiser benefiting Amberley's Place in the amount of $113.50. C.W. McGraw Elementary School received 2 Donors Choose donations, one for 4th grade and one for Mrs. Grimaldo's classroom. One in the amount of $166.75 and the other in the amount of $731. James B. Raleigh Elementary School, donation from Mark and Karen Hessinger in the form of an autographed book, autographed by author Jason Gray. The book is called Sparrows. Mary Otondo Elementary School, donation from Yuma Palms Regional Center in the amount of $250. Also, Otondo had a donation from Kona Ice in the amount of $380. And Otondo had a Donors Choose donation from Mrs. Wartenberg's students in the amount of $279.75. Palmcroft hit the Donors Choose jackpot. They had 7 Donors Choose donations totaling $1,128. Pecan Grove had a Donors Choose donation for the preschool, Miss Carla's preschool classroom in the amount of $380.80. Ron Watson Middle School, Miss Chantel Holt made a donation valued at $120. Ron Watson also had a Donors Choose donation for Mrs. Bear's classroom valued at $278.65. Roosevelt Elementary had a Donors Choose donation for Mrs. Tunstall's 5th graders, $191.75. Sunrise Elementary School, donation from Mr. Paul Chapman for supplies in the amount of $550. And the District 1 Wellness Committee received donations from Broken Yoke, Sunshine Cafe, and Accurate Automotive Attention with a total value of $234.75. So this month, our total was $4,830.23, bringing this year's total so far to $60,726.48.
Thank you to our Yuma community who have really blessed us. On to item 2.2.3, art recognition, Mr. Sheldon.
If you look around on the walls, you'll see that they are nicely adorned by local Yuma Elementary School District number 1 artists. The artwork displayed this month is from students from Woodard Junior High School and Desert Mesa Elementary School. The art students at Woodard learned about symmetry with radial square drawings and captured their personalities with symbolic self-portraits. They later created perspective drawings that they embellished with surrealistic details. The art teachers always try to throw words in there to trip me up. Crafts class played with textures and wax resist when they made paper batik drawings and later relaxed with some art therapy. The abstract watercolor paintings you see are called neurographic drawings. This is a mindful art practice that allows an artist to think about challenges they have recently faced and transform them into something beautiful. The art students at Desert Mesa learned a variety of art skills so far this year. Fifth graders created constellations using oil pastel and watercolor. Fourth graders learned about neurographic art, which is an abstract art form focused on process, not product. Third graders learned about patterns and created patterns within hot air balloons just in time for the November Hot Air Balloon Festival. 21st century ceramic students worked really hard to create a number of ceramic pieces, honing in on skills such as slipping, scoring, using a slab, and adding detail. All the students did an amazing job. And this is my chance to say that every student in Yuma Elementary School District Number 1 received instruction in art, music, and PE.
Item 2.2.4, honor departing board members, Mr. Sheldon.
Madam President and members of the board and public, tonight we honor the outstanding service of 3 Yuma Elementary School District Number 1 governing board members, Teresa Fox, Adele Hennig, and Faith Klostrike. District 1 is grateful for their service to the entire community. They have consistently advocated for students, lifted up teachers, and been a source of knowledge and wisdom. Although they are leaving their positions as board members after tonight's meeting, rest assured they will continue to support our public schools. Teresa Fox was a board member from 2019 to 2024, Adele Hennig 2021 to 2024, Faith Klostrike 21 to 24, and served as the president for 23 and 24. So we've got a couple little parting gifts for you guys. You're gonna have to come down front.
It's your turn.
You know how I hate the spotlight. Right.
Camera. Yes, so one at a time.
Okay.
So Adele. Flowers, of course. Thank you. Thank you.
Just a little bit, there we go.
It's yours. And Mrs. Klostrike?
Awesome song.
Yes, you may. It is smell great. Mrs. Fox was unable to make it tonight. We'll put her flowers in the fridge and get them to her tomorrow.
Thank you so much for that honor. Item 2.2.5, leadership update, Mr. Sheldon.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board. I'd like to read a letter.
You should.
In 1987, after a chance encounter with 2 administrators from District 1 in Cedar Falls, Iowa, a great story for a different venue, I accepted a teaching job at 4th Avenue Junior High School. Go Falcons. I had never been to Yuma, but they convinced me that it was a great place to start my teaching career. When I arrived as a 22-year-old transplant, I was taken by the warmth and acceptance of the school district and the community as a whole. During my 8 years at 4th Avenue, I taught English, coached multiple sports, officiated basketball and football, earned a master's degree, and started a family. During that time, I was able to develop as an educator, both technically and philosophically. In 1995, I accepted an offer to move to the high school district. In my 21 years with Yuma Union, I was fortunate to be presented with many opportunities for professional growth. After 4 years of teaching English and coaching at Cibola High School, I was given the opportunity to enter administration, gaining experience in every aspect of building administration, from discipline to activities in athletics to academics and scheduling. After a year and a half as co-principal at Kofa High School, I was honored to be selected as the founding principal at Gila Ridge High School, an amazing opportunity that few educators are afforded. In 2011, I was promoted to associate superintendent, where I was able to learn the school business at the district level. Wet my whistle a little. In 2016, I returned to District 1 as superintendent. It has been the highlight of my career to return home and serve the amazing families and educators here in this amazing community. Over the past 9 years, I'm proud to have been part of the team that has achieved many accomplishments. I will share a few. We reprioritized budgets to overhaul our employee compensation model after many years of salary freezes, making compensation more equitable and competitive across all employee groups. We also established the Employee Compensation Committee, giving all employee groups a voice. We transitioned from an insurance consortium to a self-insured program, resulting in considerable savings and the ability to improve benefits for years to come. We established the Milestone Employee Recognition Program to honor employees for their commitment to the district. We expanded many curricular and extracurricular opportunities for students by expanding Avid district-wide, one of the leading districts nationally in the implementation of Avid Elementary, adopting a comprehensive ELA curriculum, and we're in the process of updating curricula for both math and exceptional student services, expanding career and technical education offerings through valuable partnerships with ABEC and CFA, removing barriers to participation from middle school athletics and reinstating elementary band and intramural athletics, and developing a collaborative instructional vision to serve all students. We've enhanced support for students district-wide by expanding our Unified Sports and Special Olympics program, providing more opportunities for students with special needs to participate with their typical peers. Establishing community schools that include professional healthcare services on campus. Expanding the district preschool program, which boasts 5 five-star sites and 1 4-star site. Enhancing the transition from elementary school to 6th grade. And 9 schools have earned the Purple Star status for supporting our military-connected students. We made significant capital improvements by building a beautiful new school, Dorothy Hall Elementary, building a state-of-the-art facility to serve students with autism at Alice Byrne Elementary, and renovating an unusable space at Palmcroft into a flexible space for project-based learning. By completing Ron Watson Middle School with a comprehensive electives facility and reinstating the wood shop at 4th Avenue Junior High. We're going to hear more about that tonight. Establishing a long overdue schedule for classroom furniture replacement and enhancing school safety technologies at key locations around the district. We worked to enhance our district culture, promoting a positive culture and climate at the classroom and district level, which has attracted experienced teachers and leaders to our district, and developed a community engagement communications department, which has been instrumental in engaging our internal and external community during unprecedented challenges, and has told the stories of the great things going on at our schools. Please accept this letter as formal notification of my retirement effective June 30th, 2025. After 38 years of service to the Yuma education community, 34 of which have been directly connected to District 1. As a teacher, parent, and superintendent. I'm grateful for the countless people who have mentored and supported me over the years, especially my wife, whose support has never wavered. I will support the board during the transition and in its process of hiring the next superintendent for Yuma Elementary School District Number 1, one community pursuing excellence. Thank you. that concludes my report.
That's one to end on. On behalf of the board, I accept your letter, and the new board will continue to work, I'm sure, to build the culture of this community. If there are any people who are here for celebrations, if you were a High Five employee you'd like to leave, or a parent or a student you'd like to leave, now would be a good time to take off real quick. Because we're going to follow that with money talk.
Oh, yeah. Just getting to the good stuff. They don't know.
Okay, moving on to item 3, information items 3.1, enrollment report, Mr. Ponder.
Madam President, members of the board, looking at the enrollment reports, so pretty stagnant over the last, two separate 20-day counts, so we're right in line with where we were last year. You saw the ADM report that shows we're up collectively over last year, which is good. We'll continue to watch through the 100th day and see where we are, but don't anticipate any significant shift from what you saw in the report earlier for the budget.
Okay, any questions? Item 3.2, district financial trend, Mr. Ponder.
Madam President, members of the board, so I just want to point out real quickly, if you look at the maintenance and operation line on this particular report, you'll see that the ending balance is 1.7, and while that looks thin, the budget will increase, assuming approval today. So that'll be more in the $6.5 million range, which is kind of where I thought it would be, and that's why I wanted to capture that information in the December revision so that number more accurately reflects where we are at this point.
Thank you. Comments or questions about district financial trends? Okay, on to item 3, Fourth Avenue Junior High ABEC program.
I'll take this one.
Mr.
I don't know
Sheldon.
why it says Ponder. Because he steals the show every time.
He does.
Okay, Yuma School District 1 partners with Arizona Business and Education Coalition, referred to as ABEC, developing relationship between our district and the business sector addresses the needs on each side of this equation. ABEC partially funds our robotics program in our middle schools and also supports our industrial arts, culinary arts, and STEM education. Tonight, Dr. David Collison, Dr. Dave, affectionately, industrial arts teacher at Fourth Avenue, will share with us his journey in the industrial arts and also the vision he is working on and carrying out at Fourth Avenue Junior High. Proud note, Dr. Collison is the mastermind behind the Dorothy Young Light Parade floats that have been entered by Fourth Avenue. And to his credit, the Fourth Avenue float won top honors, reigning champs right now. Be sure to look for the new entry next week at this year's Light Parade. Dr. Collison, will you please give us some information?
Am I talking to them or you guys?
Everybody.
Talk into the mic so they can hear you at home.
It's a little high for me. Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be here to speak with you. I'm not going to take terribly long, but Mr. Shaldo, asked me if I would come and talk to you a little bit about the program that we've been building over there at Fourth Avenue Junior High School. I came to Fourth Avenue in 2013 as an art teacher and was the art teacher there for several years. And then about, I think, 5 years, boss? 5 years now, 6?
Keep saying 3 to 5.
He keeps saying 3. I think it's been 5. About 5 years ago, Mr. Kosfers came to me because I had a little bit of background in woodshop as well from the school I transferred to, from to here, and asked me if I'd do a little woodshop class. And so when we talked about it, I told him I agreed to do it, but I told him that I was not interested in making an arts and craft type of wood shop where they, all the years past where you make a little birdhouse or a little toolbox and take home. I was more interested in providing these students with an exposure to trades and real world experience. And so that's what we started doing. And We still do the little craft things in between. We do the little projects that they take home. But we started off, it was a very small little room. The original shop from probably 30 years ago had been converted into classrooms with walls and carpet and desks and whatnot. So we started off really small. And then each year we just continued to build and grow that program, tear down walls. Mr. Shaldahl had the district come in and they tore all that out and we replaced the original shop. And now it's the original shop from long ago. In that time, we started, well, let me just back up. So just a little personal thing about myself as a teacher. I went into teaching as a second career. I was retired from the military and went back to college when I got out of school and was going to be a graphic designer in 3D animation and was doing that. And I had moved to Utah because of my kids through a divorce. I wanted to be with my two boys. And my oldest son was in 4th grade at the time. And I was presented with an opportunity to go volunteer at the school. And I just wanted to be a part of, his school. So I went there and I didn't know what I was going to do. I asked, you want me to grade papers or I don't know what you want me to do. And so the teacher said, I heard you're an arts major and we don't have an art teacher. We have no kind of art. It would be cool if you did something art. So I did. And we did this project about cultural diversity. My son's school was located right next to an Air Force base, and there was a whole bunch of diversity in the classroom. So I talked to these kids and I said, would you like to do something that represent each of your own cultures and where you come from? And I asked them to go home and find, talk to their folks and find maybe a relic or a picture or something that represented their culture so we could have some imagery to base on these murals that we were going to make. That's how it started. And I thought I was just going to go in about an hour a week on a Friday and do this. Well, it quickly grew into a huge project. In fact, we ended up doing an installation of the entire wing of the school. I brought in 8 local artists, professional artists, all from different cultural backgrounds. People started donating money, hardware stores, paint stores, you name it. They all started pitching in. It turned out to be somewhere in the ballpark of $15,000 in financial donations just to make this thing happen. The district came in and installed all new track lighting and everything for all the artwork. It was a beautiful event. And while I was in the midst of that, I'm staying late and helping and getting it done, the principal there took an interest. And she kept pulling me aside and talking to me about education, right? And what happened was I caught the bug and I ended up becoming a teacher. But two things happened from that event. The first thing was I learned I wanted to become a teacher. And I never saw that coming. The second thing was I saw the value of bringing in the community to the school. And so for the past 17 years since I've been doing this, I've replicated that every single semester. So in art, I did it with art. One year we did portraits of animals that were not getting adopted at the Humane Society and offered them as incentive for people to adopt the animals. That was a pretty cool one. We did a similar thing at a senior home and had the students interview residents, learn about their life, and then they did a painting to represent their life and went and presented it to them. But then as I went into the shop and started doing, changing gears and doing trades, now I'm using that medium, right, instead of art. One year, some of you may remember, we did a dining room set for Amberly's Place for a family coming out of a domestic violence situation, and they're putting them into housing. And we built a beautiful oak dining room set for them and had that put in their home. It goes on and on. I can't even remember all of them. There's been so many, but I just continue to do that each time. And it's not just the financial support, it's the connection with the school and the community as well as the valuable lesson that we can teach our kids about altruism and being a part of the community and giving. So that's kind of my thing. That's what I've been doing. But now just to talk a little bit about the program we're building. So we have expanded. We've been building and building and building. And over the past 3 years, we started building storage sheds. By the way, if any of you want one, you can put in an order for the spring. We sell them at a really good price, just a little bit above cost, and they're beautiful. There's a picture of a frame of one. They're built by the students, and then we build them on that pad right there, which we had put in. Mr. Kostler's helped me put all that in. Now we got a launch pad where we can build them. The construction company that delivers the lumber comes at the end, picks it up with a forklift, delivers it to the residents, and puts it in place. Beautiful deal. And the kids go through that entire process. A couple of the sheds have gotten pretty involved. One of them we did for Russ Jones, where it was everything but a house. We had electricians come in and teach the kids how to do wiring, roofers, you name it, through the whole process. Well, that's where we were at last year with building these sheds. And I'm kind of crazy, but I just want to always do more. And so I started getting this idea. I've been noticing it's kind of a trending thing now with the tiny homes. Have you guys heard about those? Okay, I got an interest in that. And I started thinking to myself, my kids could build one of those. So I started looking around. There are some high schools that are doing it across the country, but they do it for profit, okay? And they're high school. No junior high school has ever tried to do this, okay, that I know of. But I think our kids can do it. So I started meeting with people. I talked to Mr. Schaldal. I talked to people in the city. We've had probably 7 meetings now with the city and all the different entities and organizations. At this point, we have the Housing Authority offering the land and the utilities and hookups and everything for these houses. We have, it goes on. All of these people are totally invested in wanting to make this happen. I have another meeting on Thursday with the city architect to come up with the blueprints. And the plan, if we can pull this off, next year, it'll be an entire year's curriculum. And we'll start with the city planners, the people that design, we'll have people come in about budgeting. All the different pieces of building this will come to the school and teach the kids all those different phases of it, and including the building of it itself. And then we're gonna build them, and they're gonna deliver them. We got, I think 12 slots on Magnolia, where we could put 12 of them, and 2 or 3 on Second Street,
yeah.
right? Second Street.
We're starting with
so
one,
that's
though.
where that's at.
Starting with one.
Yes, sir.
Starting with one, right? You're starting with one, right?
I'm a shop teacher, I can't hear. Yes, we're gonna start with one. We're gonna start with one next year. But just to kind of show you the longevity of where this could go. Can you make the slides go again? Okay, so one last thing before I stop. These are pictures of the parades, a couple of them in the past, and I'm giving you a sneak preview of this Saturday's parade float. This year, we made a 27-foot-long dragon with a castle and mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms. We won last year, so we got to pick the theme for this year, and we went with fantasy fairy tale. So obviously, my first thought was, let's make a dragon. So we made a giant dragon. The only thing, she's getting to it here, it's coming. Oh, there's Mr. Kostler's welding. I didn't mention that. We've got welding going on at the school now. That's part of the things we built up. And there's one of the sheds. There's the electrician when they were doing the electrician. Kids working. We're getting there. Masonry when we did some bricklaying. I haven't watched the slides, by the way. I'm watching them with you. Building. Oh, there's some dragon legs they're working on right there. Some mushrooms. What happened to our? It's coming. I'm going to have her stop on the dragon. There's one. Give us the back shot of them. Sorry, they're kind of all mixed up. There it is. Stop right there. So there's the back end of the dragon. I want to say 120 pounds of flour. to do the paper mache on it, 2 rolls of chicken wire, and, oh, the milk jug. So you did your thank you to the donors. I just want to also thank Sarah Farms. I'd been putting it out for a couple months. I needed milk jugs. All that castle's made out of milk jugs, the bottoms cut off and hot glued onto the cardboard. And let me tell you what it's like cutting into milk jugs that people donate that has rotten milk inside of it. But we got that part done. And just last week, after I finished, Sarah Farms, they were a little late, but they delivered in a semi-truck 400 milk jugs. So we're good for next year. But thank you, Sarah Farms. So anyway, that's my whole presentation. I hope I didn't let you down.
Thank you so much for sharing the good work. We are on to call to the public. Item 4, the governing board welcomes statements from residents and appreciates constructive suggestions and comments that help meet the education needs of the district. The completed form should be submitted by 5:45 p.m. the day of the meeting, which is traditionally the second Tuesday of the month. I believe we have one. Is that right, Rika? I'd like to call Carla Quisenberry to the podium, please.
Good evening and thank you. I came tonight because I've been a paralibrarian for 16 years from the beginning when they first hired us. And I just wanted to say thank you to the board for the library coordinator. She has been a life changer for my library, for our students, and for me. And I could have wrote you a letter, but I wanted you to feel the impact of what she has done for us, our school and our library, and what I'm looking forward to in the future. I get really nervous when I talk in front of adults. Sorry. But she is amazing. She's a support that I didn't feel in the first 15 years. But I never felt like I wasn't doing a good job with our students. But I feel now that I'm doing a much better job. She's helped me weed and clean up my library, and she is really good with development of my curriculum, which I'm really excited about. New things are hard, but every year it'll get better and better. I'm just really happy. I just really, really wanted to say thank you very much for Amanda Coltman. She's amazing, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. On to item 5, consent agenda. Approval of these items are of a routine nature, and those that normally do not require deliberations on the part of the governing board. A board member may pull items which will be discussed and voted on separately. Do we have a motion?
I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Mr. Ware and seconded by Mrs. Hennig to accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion on that? There being none, let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Action items. Item 6.1, student calendar recommendation. Mr. Munoz.
Madam President, governing board members, we're excited to present to you a 2-year student calendar recommendation. And I see some people from the calendar committee. If you would please stand to be recognized. I think Carla just took off, but thank you, Carla. They have been working so hard since September 30th, all the way up until now, working on a presentation, working on developing calendar options, what's best for employees, what's best for parents. And so we're going to highlight their process. It took about 3 months to get the process done, but we're going to summarize it in 5 minutes for you, okay?
name is Alexandria Johnson, and I am currently assistant principal at Castledome Middle School. This is my first year on the calendar committee. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed being able to collaborate in small groups to discuss and develop calendar options. We were able to share feedback with everyone and voice our opinions in various perspectives. It was a very good process and it went very smoothly. I would definitely volunteer to be a part of the calendar committee in the future. Hi, my name is Emily Ryan. I'm a teacher here at Carver Elementary, and this is my first year on the calendar committee. The role of the calendar committee representative is to be a liaison between our school or department and the calendar committee. We gather all information that we discuss in our meetings and then we give back to our schools for feedback. It is encouraged the representative of the committee to gather feedback from all the employees on the site. Any feedback collected will be brought back to the committee to make our final decisions.
Hi, I'm Christy Rock, a teacher at McGraw Elementary. This year, for the first meeting, we held in October to start the student calendar committee process. We were able to work in small groups to review, develop, and evaluate different student calendar options. We were able to narrow it down to 6 options to present to the staff and our teachers for feedback. Our committee wanted to be sure that we had a variety of options available. We had an early start, high school alignment, and various other start dates reflected.
Hi, I'm Wendy Ordeon, Director of Early Services. Following our first meeting, we asked our sites to narrow down the 6 presented calendar options to the top 2. Once we had received the information from all of our sites, we went ahead and had our second committee meeting. Our committee had a lot of conversation about the ways that those top 2 calendar options would benefit the students, staff, and families of our district. Our top 2 calendar options were option 1, a Monday start, keeping the current student holiday structure. Option 2, a Wednesday start, keeping the current student holiday structure.
Hi, I'm Carla Questenberry, a paralibrarian at Raleigh Elementary School. Our calendar committee wanted all parents and employees to be able to voice their opinion regarding the student calendar options presented. We developed both electronic and paper-based surveys in English and Spanish for parents to complete. In addition, we worked hard to boost our communication to both employees and parents regarding the availability of the survey through social media, web notifications, school messaging, and posters with QR codes embedded. Hi, I'm Amy Bell. I'm a teacher at Sunrise Elementary School. Once all the employee parent voting is complete, our committee convenes to review the voting data. Here are the results. For employees, we had a total of 444 responses. Here's the breakdown of the employee groups. Here are the employee results. As you can see, the majority of employees wanted option 1, which reflects no changes to their current calendar structure. Here's the breakdown of the reporting for each school. We had a total of 757 responses. As you can also see, the majority of parents prefer the same calendar option, which also reflects no changes to our current student calendar structure. Here is a side-by-side view of parents and employee student calendar voting. As you can see, the majority of both employees and parents prefer the same calendar option. Hi, my name is Stacey Addy. I work at 4th Avenue Junior High and I've been part of the calendar committee for a few years now. Our committee reviewed the feedback from both parents and employees since we started this process in October. On behalf of the calendar committee, our recommendation is for option 1, which reflects no change to the current calendar. The recommendation is for the 25-26, 26-27 school year. We thank everyone who participated in this process, and we appreciate the governing board considering our recommendation.
A round of applause for our calendar committee. I have been leading the calendar committee for 13 years now, And for the last 2 cycles, this calendar option has been very popular. So we haven't changed calendar structure in the last 2 cycles, so 4 years. And so for another 2 years, our community says we want to keep the same structure. So at this time, I'd like to recommend that the governing board approve the 2-year student calendar options as presented for the next 2 years.
Thank you. I move that we accept the recommendation of the committee and approve the proposed student calendar for the 25-26 and 26-27 school year.
Second that.
It's been moved by Mrs. Klostryk and seconded by Mr. Ware to approve the committee's recommendation for the 2-year calendar. Is there any discussion?
I do have a question.
Yes.
Is there a change in the number of teacher reporting days between, for example, this year? No, okay.
This is just a student calendar option. All of the working calendar options will be the same.
Thank you.
Right.
Very good. Good question. Anybody else? There being none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Find your summer vacation. On to item 6.2, consideration to approve the 2024-25 budget revision. Mr. Ponder.
Madam President, members of the board, it is recommended that the governing board approves the revised 2024-2025 budget, which was presented earlier in the public hearing.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the budget as presented.
I'll second. It's been moved by Mrs. Hennig and seconded by Mrs. Klostryk to approve the revised 24-25 budget, which was presented at the public hearing. Is there any discussion? There being none, let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to item 7, future agenda items. Anybody have anything? So I'm not going to be on the board in January. However, I recommend that the board move swiftly to find a process and hire perhaps a vendor to facilitate the move to a new superintendent. It takes a while to find a good one. So I would recommend that you start that process in January, but that will be entirely up to you. Anybody have anything else? There being none, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.